The Way of Love for the Lord, Chapter 19. Jesus who appeared during a confession, May 26, 1981. I had worked as a volunteer for the charismatic movement even from the time I was then a catechumen. Many people began taking interest in me and were then speaking well of me. And then some volunteers got jealous and misunderstood me and started slandering me ceaselessly. Mrs. M, who was one of them, was truly against me in every way and tried to make things difficult for me, demanding what was unimaginable from a common sense point of view. Though at times it was hard for me to understand her from a human point of view, but I regarded her as my benefactor who could lead me to humility. For her sake, I offered up everything as a sacrifice, penance, and prayed the prayers of life. One day, I came to serve as a leader for the old ladies group in the charismatic seminar in Hannam. By then, I had been always a leader of the youngest group as I was the youngest among the volunteers. Mrs. M, who had been taking charge of the elderly, suddenly said that she disliked the old ladies. I had always loved old ladies, so I volunteered to take charge of them. The main topic discussed in the old women group was unanimously about conflicts with their daughters-in-law. Whenever I had conversation with them, I would connect everything to God's love, praying that the Lord might personally melt their hearts that had been hardened, harried, and wounded by the feud with their daughters-in-law, kindle the fire of love in them, and heal them completely. Then their ice-cold hearts began to melt like the snow does in spring. The 15 old ladies in my team began to be inflamed with love gradually. They liked the seminar very much. I am delighted and pleased with this seminar. At first, I considered giving up this time, but as I hear Julia speak, I realize that every single word she says is truly right. You can say that again. It is very nice coming here. Yes, what else can this be other than a calling from the Lord? Soon after, there was a discussion among the leaders where Mrs. M spoke up in heated anger. There was an old lady who belonged to my group, while her daughter-in-law belonged to Mrs. M's group. I didn't know what the daughter-in-law told Mrs. M, her leader, about her mother-in-law. But suddenly Mrs. M flew into a rage, venting her anger at me as if I were that mother-in-law. Upon listening to her, I pondered, what should we do as leaders? Is it not our duty that we should help them reconcile with each other if they are in conflict with each other? If they have negative thoughts, shouldn't we help them foster positive thinking? However, I thought that she was angry just because I was there, so I asked for her forgiveness from the bottom of my heart. I am sorry if I made a mistake. Please reprimand me more and correct me. After that, without Mrs. M knowing it, I met up with the daughter-in-law and got her to reconcile with her mother-in-law who belonged to my group. That night, there was a vigil and Mrs. M said, even if the old women come to this vigil tonight, it is so obvious that they will doze up. Let us tell them not to come. I said, please don't stop them from coming. I will take charge of them. She retorted, Julia, what do you know about them? I know them better than you do, because until now I have been in charge of them many times. Then I asked the president of the seminar to take the necessary measures so that the old ladies could come to the vigil that night to share the love of God. On the last night of the seminar, all of them hugged each other like innocent children, dancing and shedding tears of joy. The old ladies went to their daughters-in-law who were in conflict with them and reached out to them for reconciliation. Embracing each other and bursting into tears of joy, they asked each other for forgiveness and shared the true love of the Lord. However, Mrs. M fumed at me, saying, "What's all this fuss about? Do you have a party?" She shot an angry look at me again. I was really surprised. I'd hoped that she would also be pleased if she saw them reconcile with each other and share the Lord's love. Her unexpected response made my heart ache, but I quickly offered up this pain to the Lord. "O Lord, you have sent me a benefactor to make me humble, lest I be proud or conceited." I gave thanks to God, praying for her. "O Lord, grant your immense love, mercy, and grace to her, so that she may not ignore old women, but instead take good care of them with love." I offered her up to the Lord. I went to confession thinking the one who was supposed to make God's love known got angry at me. All this happened because of me. So this is all my fault. Accepting everything as my fault, I asked the Lord for forgiveness in confession. The priest in the confessional said, "You made a good confession. I have never heard a confession like this. In fact, it was not your fault at all, but I wish you to forever keep the good heart of accepting everything as my fault." He granted me absolution. At that very moment, it suddenly became bright in the confessional, and I saw Jesus who appeared standing behind the priest and acting the same way as the priest did. When the priest blessed me, Jesus gave me a blessing exactly the same way. That was the first time I had ever seen Jesus do that. I was so astonished that I stayed motionless for quite a while in the confessional, even after the priest had already left. Then I heard the voice of the Lord.
My beloved little soul, you blame no one in the burning love of my sacred heart, and offer up everything by always lowering and emptying yourself with a heart of true love for your neighbors. Whenever I see such a humble love of yours, I am truly and greatly consoled. Your great love and the humility of lowering yourself fill up again and again the abyss that lies between my greatness and your triviality.